Scott here. I am your loan man, and it's great to be with you. Questions have been coming at me from clients, especially first-time home buyers recently, about mortgage rates and why they've been going up. And especially in light of the fact that the Federal Reserve has started to cut rates recently. They cut interest rates, the Fed funds rate, actually by a total of 75 basis points. And yet it is true that mortgage rates are higher now than they were 4 or 6 weeks ago. So the question is, what's going on? Well, there's not a direct correlation between those two variables. The Fed funds rate is the interest rate that the Fed uses when it lends money to other banks and when banks lend money to each other. Mortgages, when a new mortgage is created, on the other hand, it's turned into a bond and it's sold on the secondary market. It's sold on Wall Street as an investment vehicle. So there are separate market forces at play here. Let's talk for a moment about what causes inflation and what inflation really is. Well, first of all, it's not transitory, as Janet Yellen told us, the Treasury Secretary, some years ago. It's not a temporary phenomenon, and it wouldn't go away on its own, and she had to walk that back. I guess better late than never. It's also not created by the war in Ukraine. It's not created by high energy prices. Inflation is simply the measure of the amount of dollars in the system. So if the Federal Reserve or any central bank, any country in the world, decides to print more dollars, to create more currency and push it into the system, whether that's physical currency or digital currency, each individual dollar is by definition not worth as much when you measure it against things like that have a fixed or more permanent value, like a piece of real estate or a bar of gold or something like that. It would take more of these dollars to equal the same bar of gold. Hopefully that makes sense. So what actually happened was, in the first 3 years of the Biden administration, while coming out of COVID, 23% of all dollars ever created in the history of the Republic were created during that 3-year period, which is why when Janet Yellen said that inflation was transitory, I knew she was full of it, quite frankly. One of the other things that's driving inflation is our deficit spending as a country. It's gotten to the point now where we spend more on servicing the debt, meaning servicing the debt payments is a larger portion of the budget than defense spending. Total defense spending is actually less of a budget item than debt service. Pretty scary, and we've never seen that before. Now, the good news is that the rate of inflation, the rate of increase, has been coming down for over a year now. And you can see that here in the chart. Where does that leave us? Where are we going to go from here? Well, sad to say this, but the truth is, one of the things that would improve inflation is a struggling economy. If the economy is not growing, people get laid off, unemployment would, in fact, cause the Fed to change policies, and rates would come down, and they'd probably come down pretty aggressively. So one of the measures that I keep an eye on is the rate of unemployment. There's going to be new metrics released, new data on unemployment released on December 5th. So keep an eye out for that. There's other things that you can do or consider doing to protect yourself against inflation, which is to buy fixed assets like gold and silver and real estate. And of course, I prefer real estate because you can do more with it. You can get rental income from your properties. You can turn those properties into businesses, and you can't do that with a bar of gold. I hope this explanation was useful to you and kind of gives you an understanding of where we're at. I do expect interest rates to come down in 2025, not in the next month or two, but we're going to see this, and we're going to see it soon. We really are at a high point for interest rates right now, and hopefully that's good news, and I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving and a Merry Christmas, and New Year's is right around the corner. Thank you so much.